What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Justin, and today we're listening to Emerson, Lake and Palmer with their song Tank off of their self-titled album, which was released in 1970. I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, a wonderful evening, a beautiful night. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. And if you're watching this in the morning, good morning. If you're watching this at night, hello. You might want to go to sleep soon. This is Tank by ELP. You know, one thing I've kind of noticed from ELP that I've been enjoying as I've gone through this album, and I'm not sure about future albums, but I can at least talk about this one. I enjoy how much they actually feel like a progressive band. Like, in just this one album, and this is their first album, in just this first album, I feel like they are really pushing so many boundaries. I had already talked earlier in other videos about like how I feel like they're very jazz and classically influenced. Like you can really clearly hear that in their music, and you hear it too here. Like it's no different. But just the use of the synth specifically in the second half of this song, tell me that they had their roots in genres that were definitely established, of course, at this time, classical and jazz, and jazz seeing its heyday, of course. But even out of those roots, they were interested in pursuing and growing past that. Their bloom, I don't know where that happened, but you can see that the seeds are planted, and they're blooming and growing towards these new sounds and new horizons. The use of the synth there at the end I thought was really nicely done, and that sound is still something you hear a lot today in a lot of modern music. So it's really cool to see that and to hear that, and just know like at this point in the 70s, they were already ahead of their time in a sense. This first section of Tank, I really enjoy the first section, Emerson on the clavinet and the piano, and he sounds phenomenal. I really like the way he plays it. It feels so light and playful and just joyful. Like on top of the music, the bass playing. Ooh, the bass playing is nice. It's so groovy. It moves so clearly. Listen to Lake on the bass. I don't know if he's an underrated bassist or not, but listen to the way it moves. It has such a nice flow as he's playing while he's building up with the clavinet. At this point, the drums are relatively a little more laid back before, of course, it breaks into the solo. And before it breaks into its true solo, you have the stop-start sections, right, where the music bum 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 bum. And when it comes to drum solos, I think that they are so interesting because they can be done really well. They can be not done so well. They can sound out of place. They can sound perfectly in place. And in this song, I got a little bit of both. Because, for example, in the stop-start sections, I thought that was like perfect drum solo. That was great. I love that because it doesn't kick the rest of the band out necessarily, but it still leaves room for the drummer to have fun with the percussion elements of the song. And this kind of classic call and response sounds so good in music. I think it sounds so good, especially when you have a band as talented as ELP, in which they're able to manipulate the sounds and play back and forth, and you can tell that they're playing with each other, and perhaps they're even like challenging each other. And I think that's kind of part of what drives them, and probably what drives a lot of bands. Now, as it got into the actual drum solo, here's kind of how I felt. I thought it was the perfect showcase to show exactly what Palmer could do on the drums, to show just how versatile he is, to show how much power and technicality he has, because he definitely has it, but also to showcase the amount of emotion that he can display in the drum solo, because I do feel that there was actually a lot of emotional value in the drum solo as well. Like, I could feel it, and not just as like this cool drum solo, but like there was emotion carried in it. When he would draw it back a little bit, when he would play a little more subtle, and there was some very clean moments in there that just sounded really good and hit in all the right ways. Despite this, and even though I actually liked like how it was showcased and how it was done, I felt it was kind of it kind of took away from the rest of the song, only in the sense that I was enjoying so much of what the band as a whole was doing, that even though I liked what Palmer was doing with the drums, I would have liked the drum solo to either been just a little bit shortened, or to have it to been relegated to those call and response parts in which the rest of the band is involved as well, because I really enjoyed the whole sound of this song, and the drum solo kind of split that in half a little bit, even though it didn't sound bad. Now, when it comes to drum solos in a studio recording, it's kind of like 70-30 for me, whether I'm going to like it or not. And that's not based necessarily on what they're doing on the drums. It's just how it's implemented. Is it forced in there? Does it feel forced in there? Does it take away from my enjoyment of the other sides of the drum solo? Here, a little bit, but not as much as it probably sounds like I'm saying. In a lot of jazz recordings, they do the same thing. They have a lot of jazz solos. And oftentimes, I feel like they're a little bit better inducted. Here, for as cool as it sounded, I would have just liked it a little bit shorter. Just a little bit. Not like a lot, because I think it was cool. Just a little bit. It also sounds really cool. Tell me if I'm lying to you, because I'm not. But tell me this isn't the greatest transition out of a drum solo back into the main song, back with the rest of the band coming. I think the effects that they did on this thing are so cool. It sounds so awesome. Listen just for a second. That is so awesome. That is so awesome, the way the drums like broke down. There were almost like phasing effects on it. It was going from left to right in the headphones, and then it got suctioned back in and then spit it back out. It was just really cool. I like the way that they transitioned it. This was fun to listen to. I enjoyed it. And as always, I would love to know what you guys thought of the song. You can join me on Twitter. You can join me in the comments down below. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, a great night, whichever it is. And I guess I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.